Hello and welcome to the program, this edition of Newsroom series covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka. First, the top stories. The Kebbi state government is appealing for help to deal with the enormity of flooding which has ravaged farmlands and is impacting several communities. According to the state government, a total of 329,000 houses have been destroyed, while 858,000 hectares of farmlands, comprising crops such as rice, millet, guinea corn, sorghum, beans, and other varieties, have either been washed away or submerged throughout the 21 local government areas of the state. The State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Mr. Yakubu Ahmed, explained that the floods have overwhelmed the state government in spite of efforts deployed to provide succor to the victims. And the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPPADEC, has donated 31 fiber flying boats to state governments within its catchment areas. This gesture aims to beef up preparedness for emergency response in the event of overflooding. The Managing Director, HYPPADEC, Abubakar Yelwa, says the initiatives are crucial as early warning reports indicate that more communities are at the risk of floods this year. Mr. Yelwa adds that the Commission is committed to the development of hydroelectric power producing areas with a focus on addressing ecological challenges resulting from hydroelectric dam operations.
In HYPPADEC, we usually allocate our resources on the usage and effect and how beneficial those facilities can be to the communities. It is therefore on that background that we have allocated one number boat to Kaduna, one number boat to Gombe, two number boat to Nasarawa, two number boat to Taraba, three number boats to Benue, four number boats to Kwara and Kogi State, four number each, and six number to Kebbi, and 8 number to Niger State.
And voters in Anambra State are electing executives into their respective local government areas today. In Anambra South Senatorial Zone, Polling Unit 001, Umeze, Isofia, Agwata local government area, which has a total of 1,060 registered voters, electoral officers had already begun setting up to commence the business of the day as early as 9 a.m. The presiding officer, Mr. Chijoke Ume, says the voters register the ballot boxes for chairmanship and councillorship positions had been ready. He adds that the results sheet, forms for party agents to sign, among other materials, are also handy for a smooth electoral process. The state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, says the conduct of the local government election is one that the state government takes seriously, as it is a grassroots exercise which will help project what the governorship election of the year 2025 will be.
Everything is moving on smoothly. I mean, the much awaited local government election in Anambra State of today, well, nothing can be described as ever peaceful more than this. Yeah. Deployment of materials were done very early, went to stations very early. Deployment of security officials also, and everything, is peaceful. Peaceful in Anambra. We are happy it is happening this way. I have personally observed more than 300 persons have voted here since morning, and many, and we are still counting. So there's nothing like apathy here. Of course, this is Isofia. There can never be anything like called apathy in Isofia. And in Agwata local government area, for sure, there can never be anything to be described as utter apathy in Isofia, in Agwata.
And barely a week after their own election, the Kwara state government has organized a retreat for the 16 newly elected local government chairmen and their deputies. The event was aimed at preparing them for the responsibilities that lie ahead in their roles. The retreat focused on key topics such as effective local government administration, financial autonomy for local governments, and strategies for maintaining strong public relations, among other important themes. Professor Hassan Saliu, a political science from the University of Ilorin, was among the notable speakers who shared insights to guide the officials in carrying out their duties.
Going by the trend in the world, the executive and legislature are now working more closely. And that's why you have executive or legislative executive agenda, which to some people is misnomer. But what we see is total separation is not possible anywhere. Rather, what we see is cooperation, collaboration in moving the Remain agenda forward.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested and detained former Taraba State Governor, Mr. Darius Ishaku, for alleged involvement in a 27 billion naira fraud. The former governor will face trial on 15 counts, including criminal breach of trust, misappropriation, and diversion of public funds. The alleged offences occurred between 2015 and 2021 during his tenure as governor, and they involved funds belonging to the state government and local government councils. Specifically, Mr. Ishaku is accused of diverting 1.01 billion naira from the 2.5% contingency fund of the Bureau of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in Taraba State between August 2015 and March 2016. Mr. Ishaku also allegedly used 3.348 billion naira from local government council funds for personal gain and diverted 639 million naira for his own use. Further allegations include the misappropriation of 1.138 billion naira from the same contingency fund between July 2015 and 2019 and the diversion of 193 million naira from Donga local government council funds. Other charges include criminal breach of trust involving 650 million naira from Gasol local government, 170 million naira from Gashaka local government, and 201 million naira from Ardokola local government council. The former governor is also accused of buying a duplex property in Abuja with 23 million naira from Taraba state government funds and using 761 million naira to repay a loan for his company, Worthy Construction Limited. The Taraba State Community Action for Recovery and Economic Stimulus, TR Cares, has empowered no fewer than 7,000 young entrepreneurs, poor and vulnerable households with cash transfers to boost micro and small enterprises in the state. The state government describes the gesture as part of its desire to reduce poverty occasioned by the current economic realities. The program is equal to the partnership between the Taraba State Government, the World Bank, and the Bank of Industry. It's the flag-off of the disbursement of grants to support micro and small enterprises affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in Taraba State since the year 2020. It's a special initiative by the state government, the World Bank, and the Bank of Industry to empower local businesses, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. A total of 7,015 poor and vulnerable household members receive 50,000 naira each from the 442 million naira earmarked for the program and will undergo vocational training.
The sum of 442 million naira has been processed for disbursement to 7,015 beneficiaries. Congratulations on being successful for this grant, and it is our expectation that the funds will be deployed for its intended purposes, with a view to contributing to the economic prosperity of Taraba State.
The State Commissioner for Commerce, Trade and Industry says the steps taken by the state government are in line with its desire to uplift over 2 million vulnerable residents out of poverty by the year 2031.
The support initiative for our micro and small enterprises is leveraged under the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry with a core mandate to preventing the collapse, facilitating the recovery of micro and small enterprises in the state, and therefore admonish to use these funds judiciously to strengthen your businesses, stimulate economic growth, and improve the livelihoods of our communities.
And for his part, the state governor, who was represented by his deputy, says his administration has put in place a mechanism to monitor the utilization of the grants to ensure the attainment of the primary objective of the program.
The government has put in place a mechanism to avoid and alleviate you with all the necessary support and monitoring to ensure the attainment of the primary objectives of this program.
The Taraba state government says it is establishing skill acquisition centers across the 16 local government areas of the state that will target existing and emerging vulnerable households to cushion the effects of economic hardship in the state. And there's more from Taraba State as the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions is pushing for the sponsorship and training of medical students in the country to filling the void created by the large-scale migration of healthcare workers abroad. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Amos Magaji, said this while on an oversight visit to the Federal Medical Center in Jalingo, Taraba State, to track the utilization of government funds.
This oversight visit by the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions to the Federal Medical Center in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, is the first since 2014 when a similar visit took place.
When I was passing there,
the aim is to ascertain how funds appropriated by the federal government are utilized to ensure that Nigerian government gets value for funds appropriated to the institution.
People in government, you have
led by the chairman of the committee, Mr. Amos Magaji, the committee revealed that President Bola Tinubu has approved 50% decrease in electricity tariff of federal hospitals and allow hospitals to have mini grids as proposed by the 10th National Assembly.
Billions of dollars are spent every year by Nigerians in other hospitals abroad. And the unfortunate thing is that those hospitals abroad are manned by Nigerians. So if they can do it there, why not here? So I think we are looking at all these things. Probably are we going to be sponsoring medical students from the university, or when they graduate, are there going to be some bonds while you train them? But if you don't spend anything on anybody, there's no way you will tell him where to go.
The Chief Medical Director of the health institution says their visit is timely as the institution is managing scarce resources allocated to it and is faced with lots of challenges, including high cost of electricity, inadequate funding, lack of dialysis machine, MRI, CT scan machines, among several others that inhibit optimum service delivery.
Once we have not been able to give us what we want 100%. Then even if the funds have been appropriated, sometimes we have delayed or inadequate release of overhead and capital allocations.
Shortly after, the team embarked on an assessment tour led by the committee chairman of the institution's molecular laboratory, accident and emergency unit, kidney complex, virology unit, neonatal unit, critical care unit, among others, to ensure that money spent commensurates with service delivery.
Nigerian doctors are the best everywhere abroad. And I don't think those abroad are better than those that are remaining here. It's just that they don't have enough equipment or the environment to practice medicine the way they want to practice. And this is our goal.
They've gone around, they've seen, so the seeing will be imputed in their brain, I'm sure. When they are doing the next appropriation, it will be a very seamless tax because they already know what our challenges are. And anytime we present problems to them, since they've been here and they've seen, it will be easy to comprehend.
The committee states that it is determined to quash medical tourism by Nigerians, to reposition its over 50 federal health institutions and improve healthcare delivery in the country.
And still to come on the program, The Gombe State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency impounds a truckload of tramadol. We'll have this story and more coming your way after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. The Gombe State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has impounded a truckload of tramadol drugs carefully concealed behind bags of salt. Working in concert with other agencies, the NDLEA says they successfully arrested 3 suspects transporting the contraband at the Bauchi-Gombe border.
This truck, transporting tramadol, a controlled prescription medication, was intercepted by the NDLEA in cahoots with other security personnel on duty at the Bauchi-Gombe border. 3 suspects aboard the truck were caught conveying 146 cartons of tramadol containing 2,190,000 capsules and 30 cartons containing 300,000 tramadol tablets, estimated to cost over 2 billion naira. They were without legal paperwork required for moving such controlled substances.
During the search, we were able to recover 30 cartons of this white here containing 30 white cartons containing 300,000 tablets of tramadol. While here, we recovered 146 cartons of tramadol capsules, which total 2,190,000 capsules. Investigation is currently going on. We arrested the driver, spare driver, and one of the persons who accompanied the vehicle. The challenge we have is that these drugs are legal. 50 mg, 100 mg are not banned by NAFDAC. It's up to anything above 100 mg. But these drugs, the movement is supposed to be with a way bill, with a pharmaceutical license. So once these things don't have these consignments don't have this kind of documents, then you know it's for illegal use.
The consignment, which was stealthily covered by bags of salt to evade checkpoints, was headed to Gombe State for possible distribution to other northeastern states of Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe thereafter.
I'm interested to note that these goods were destined for Gombe. And some of them will have still been transshipped to Borno. But based on credible intelligence, we have been able to remove this from the circulation. Only God knows what the damage this will have done to our youths.
For the Inuwa Yahaya-led government, which founded the Ministry of Internal Security and Human Affairs, intercepting the illegal consignment is not just a major catch, but a watershed in the fight against drug abuse.
This is what we call a big catch. And it's a signal message to those who are in this business so that they can know that the officers of NDLEA are doing, and they will not hesitate to continue doing their job.
The drugs are expected to be destroyed going by established protocol. The Gombe State government, on the flip side, says it remains committed to waging war against illegal substances which are not only harmful to health, but also fuel violent crimes in the northeast.
Governor Umar Fintiri of Adamawa State has revealed that education remains top priority list of his administration. The governor is appealing to partners and other stakeholders to support him in the implementation of the state policy on education in order to achieve a common goal for development. The governor made this appeal during the state's education policy validation meeting in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. Seated here at the banquet hall of the government house in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, are critical stakeholders in the education sector. It's a meeting put together by the state government in collaboration with the Center for Advocacy, Transparency and Accountability Initiative funded by the Malala Foundation. The State Deputy Governor, Professor Kaletapwa Farauta, says the policy document would serve as a guide for educational development in the state and the country at large.
I'm believing God that on behalf of the government of Adamawa State and on behalf of the governor who has made education a priority, that from henceforth, when Adamawa's figures of out-of-school children will be reported, I'm believing God that it should be that all of us are talking with the same voice, so that there will be no discrepancy in the figures the government is giving and our partners are giving, because we are the people you are reporting about, and we know where we are coming from, where we are today, and the plans we have for our people.
Representatives of the United States Agency for International Development USAID and Education in Emergency Working Group at the event threw their weight behind the government policy on education and interventions.
No state has been this forthright in terms of bringing together policies and operationalizing them in the state, particularly the National Reading Framework, which is one of the key policies for basic education, is already part of the compendium that has been put together.
With this education policy specific to Adamawa State, I believe whatever partner is coming to support the state, it will go a long way of state priority and also in line with reducing the rate of out-of-school children and at the same time increasing the learning outcome.
The Adamawa State Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development says the draft policy aims to address the gaps in the education sector to accommodate more development.
In as much as we have the national policy on education for the country, we also feel that as a state, we need to domesticate this policy, this policy to fit into our own peculiarities as a government, as a people, as a state. And that is why we decided that we should have a document that can look truly an Adamawa document, in as much as we are part of a country with a national policy on education.
This policy document outlines clear priorities across the various educational levels, including basic, post-basic and tertiary education, as well as technical, vocational and formal education, among others. And staying with education matters, the Academic Staff Union of Universities Bauchi zone is raising the alarm over the exodus of 30 trained PhD holders from Saadu Zungu University, SAZU, due to deteriorating working conditions and inadequate welfare packages. This development was highlighted during a press conference held in Bauchi, where ASU officials detailed their concerns. The union also criticizes the university administration for failing to pay over 650 million naira in accumulated entitlements, including earned academic allowances and honorariums for internal examiners.
It may interest you to know that 13 years after the establishment of this university, there is no exit policy for the employees of the institution. For the avoidance of doubt, SAZU has no pension or death benefit scheme in place, as obtained in well-structured public service organizations in the country and elsewhere. This has not only dampened the morale of our members in the university, but forced many, including 30 trained PhD holders, to resign and migrate to other institutions where their future is more secured. ASU Bauchi calls on the Bauchi state government and indeed well-meaning citizens and relevant stakeholders in Bauchi state to, as a matter of urgency, 1, put in place a comprehensive exit policy which includes pension for staff who retire from the university and death benefit for the families of staff who are deceased, in line with the international best practice. 2, fully implement the funding formula as provided in the law of the university. 3, pay all outstanding allowances and remunerations of our members, including earned academic allowance, excess workload allowance, and honorarium to our colleagues who serve as internal examiners in postgraduate programs. 4, provide adequate funds for training and staff development.
And that's our offering on the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll return next week with another round of editions. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.